up. I'm so excited for this. She's got her flower power on. Sarah ReesEvans. Sarah first experienced the hidden scars of childhood trauma and wellness struggles at a young age. And this led to silent conversations with God about forgiveness, life's purpose, self-healing, and the value of female life. Today, she stands as an internationally recognized expert in the hidden impact of childhood trauma, generational trauma, and women's wellness. EmpowerHERDreams, did I say it right? EmpowerHERDreams, sorry. Global mission is to ensure overwhelmed women affected by the hidden impact of childhood trauma have the tools, techniques, and help that they need to prosper in a life without years of therapy. Welcome to the stage, Sarah.
Ladies and gentlemen, or men, welcome and thank you for being here with me today and sharing your valuable time. In these next few minutes, we'll go on a journey together. A journey that unveils the strength of silent voices. Today, I invite you on a journey into the exploration of measuring the value of female life. First, I'd like you to close your eyes, even if just for a moment, if you're comfortable. What do you hear? You can open your eyes when you're ready. Silence. Welcome to the hidden world of silent voices. Being born female does not give a man the future right to take her body, to be violent, or to take away her life. I just want to take a moment. And if this resonates with any of you, just raise your hands. Thank you. Before we begin the deeper part of this journey together, I need to share something with you today. The silent voice story. As I believe, this little story of one girl is what opened the door to my bigger mission, purpose in life, and what I'm about to share with you. A little under 50 years ago, this little girl experienced deep, profound tribulations and challenges in her own life that she feared speaking about. So much so, the truth is, this little girl feared speaking her truth, feared not speaking her truth, feared being heard, feared not being heard, feared being visible, and feared not being visible. She feared trusting others. She feared being taken away from her family. She feared her future, and she feared being in a female body. She feared her future. She feared intimacy, and she feared future relationships. Most of all, she feared vulnerability. Her truth is, this little girl became a silent voice. I remember one evening she was tucked up under her covers in her warm bed with her toys and her teddies, and she couldn't sleep. And so began her first conversations with God. Her reality was she was only 8 years old, and already she was asking God, what was the value of female life? Why had God put her on earth to walk through such deep challenges? How did she begin to heal her past and prosper in her future? And what was God's bigger purpose for her life? These questions, amongst others, became her main conversations with God for the years to come. The reality is, God was preparing her for bigger moments. At the right time, in the right way, and for the right mission. So here she stands today. No longer afraid to be visible, no longer afraid to be vulnerable, and no longer afraid to be heard. I share this story with you as I'm sure every female in this room has experienced their own trials and tribulations in life. The silent voices measuring the value of female life in Argentina. So why am I mentioning Argentina? To many of us, as a Western society, we consider Argentina to be a modern, developed, free, cosmopolitan country. If that resonates with anybody compared to other Latin American countries, and you feel comfortable, just raise your hands. Anyway, growing up, that's what I always believed. I never questioned, was Argentina a safe place to live if you're female? But actually, the dark truth is very different. The reality is, I stumbled across this information a little more than 2 weeks ago, and it touched my heart. Many of us have heard of violence against females in Mexico and other Latin American countries, and now other countries around the world. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here today to speak on behalf of all those silent voices in Argentina and beyond. Let's begin the journey. As we gather here, a silent war rages on the vibrant streets of Argentina, in particular in Buenos Aires. A war against females, young and old, fueled in deep masochism and femicide. This isn't just a battle. It's a crisis that claims girls' and women's lives because being born female is not good enough. Today, I aim to shine a torch on this dark issue, femicide, and what it truly costs to be a female in Argentina. The harsh reality is, in Argentina, a young girl or adult female is murdered every 32 hours, purely because she is female. Violence, machismo, and femicide are considered daily norms. These are not random acts of violence, but deliberate, calculated crimes rooted in a culture of machismo that views females' lives as expendable. Last year alone, the country recorded a horrifying spike in these killings, with official grassroots organisations sounding the alarm on this escalating tragedy. The reality is, on the streets of Argentina, girls and adult females fear being molested, even on a bus in daylight, in public. They fear going out and not returning home. They fear not being able to protect themselves against these kind of men. They fear going out on bike rides alone. For others, they fear being at home. And some are afraid to go out after dark. Historical and cultural challenges, like many South American nations, is steeped in the tradition of machismo. We only need to think of the tango, a cultural belief in strong or aggressive macho pride. While many celebrate the vibrant culture this tradition stems from, there is a darker undercurrent that perpetuates violence against females. This cultural framework not only justifies, but often glorifies male dominance, leaving young girls and women vulnerable, undervalued, and underpaid. Since the new president, Javier Milei, in 2023, not long after did he decide to close the Ministry of Women, Gender and Diversity that was dedicated to protecting women in a time when it's greatly needed. With the economic instability in Argentina, a history shows this often correlates to an increase in violence against girls and women. So how do we value female life? Is it in the silence after her voice has been permanently stifled? Is it in the tears of her parents, siblings, friends, and loved ones she leaves behind? Or is it in the potential she had that now remains unfulfilled? Ni uno menos, not one woman less, that takes place on the 3rd of June in Argentina every year. It's a movement that campaigns against gender-based violence. The movement started as a direct response to the murder of Chiara Paez in May 2015. She was a 14-year-old young girl who had a whole life ahead of her, weeks pregnant and beaten to death by her partner because she wanted to keep the baby and he didn't. Reach out to the person next to you and close your eyes and breathe in the words, "We are all equal." My question to you is, what can we do together to create a better future for all females globally? Thank you for listening.